Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. I'm glad you're here today. I thought for today, as this is still August and I'm kind of presenting some quick and easy fun fold for these hot summer days. And so I thought that today we would do a fun fold that I call the standalone fun fold. And sometimes people refer to this card as an inverted or an inverse gatefold card, and I can understand where that name would come from because it is very similar to a gatefold card in some ways. It almost looks like one right here, but instead of opening it like this, you know, of course you don't. That's the back of the card. So here is the card. Stands up. I know it's hard to see, really get a good view of the card, but it does stand up on its own. And of course, this right here is in portrait orientation. And then here's another one in portrait orientation. And of course, it stands up. And down here, these two are landscape. And the landscape ones stand up as well. I guess I could turn it that way then. Well, no, really can't see it very well when they stand up, but they do stand up. And I like to make these, and I like to make them for kids or people who enjoy displaying their cards, because these do stand up and they look real pretty on a shelf or a bed table or whatever. So I thought we would walk through how to make them today. But first, I just wanted to talk about some things that you can do if you want to, and other things that you may pass on. Now, as you can see, these cards that I have here are all made with a cardstock for the base, and then I have put patterned paper on each section for layers. You don't have to use patterned paper. You could use cardstock. You could use an embossing folder on that cardstock to give it some texture. You could use a combination of, or you could leave these panels blank. Now on the back is where you have a space. You put a panel here where you can sign your name. This isn't a lot of space, I know. You could probably put 2 more panels here if you wanted just a little extra room. There is more space on the back side of the landscape version, and you could put white cardstock here if you needed more space to write. But on this card in particular, and this one, I have put more strips of pattern paper. You do not have to do that. As you can see, I didn't do it on this version or on this version. I just left them the plain cardstock, and then we have the panel for writing a message. Now, I have used on all of mine, just because I was in a die cut mood. Well, this is actually fussy cut, but I was just in a mood to have cut out images on my cards. You could make this a panel that's stamped, and actually we're going to put a card together here in a bit, and I have used a panel that I've just stamped instead of using a die cut image. You could use just a greeting if you want to just put a big greeting here. I've done that many times. Also, you could put a greeting on a panel or on, say, some round die cuts and just put it here, even if it's larger than this center section, as long as whatever you put on the center section does not go out over the ends. Now, these cards will fit perfectly inside the regular A2 card envelope, an envelope that will fit a card that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And all you have to do is just make sure it's folded and it fits right inside. Now, for the portrait versions, they are a little different in dimension. Instead of being 4 1/4 inches, they are just 4 inches by 5 1/2. The 5 1/2 is the same. The top is just slightly different. And it too will fit right into an A2 envelope. Sometimes it's harder to get it in because of all the little folds and nooks and crannies, but you just take your time. I'm afraid the little thing on the flamingo won't fit in there. There it goes. And there you go. Now, the card fold is quick and easy. However you care to decorate it may not be. Case in point, I want you to meet Gladys. This is Gladys, and some of you may have this die. It is a Tim Holtz die that Sizzix put out, and I have it right here. I got it a while back for free, actually. And here it is. There are a lot of dies on here and a lot of teeny tiny pieces. Normally, I am not a teeny tiny pieces of little itty bitties for dies person. I like, for example, this one, stamp it, cut it out. This one, stamp it, cut it out. But I have to say, Gladys took a little bit of work, but she was worth it, and I do like that die, and I thought it really made the card just pop. So, as I said, this card fold in and of itself is quick and easy. How you go about decorating it may or may not be, okay? So, let's talk about the cards a little bit, how to put them together. We'll put these guys right over here. And I'm going to bring in a scoreboard, because the base for these cards are the same as the base for any A2 size card. We're going to start with the landscape version, and that's like our turtle one here. And the measurement for the card base is 11 inches by 4 1/4, just like we sometimes do a card base like for maybe a top fold card. So we are going to, I need my cheat sheet here for the scoring, but for the scoring, we are going to score at 2 3/4 inches. So we're going to go 2 and then over to 3/4, so 2 3/4. And then we're going to score at 4 1/8. So that's right here. And then what we're going to do, we're going to flip our paper and then do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to score at 2 3/4 and 4 1/8. And that's all there is to making this card base. We just need to do a little folding and get a bone folder so we can crease our folds. And we start over here. It's going to be a valley fold. Then a mountain fold. Another mountain fold. And a valley fold. There's our card base. There's the front of our card. Now we need some panels. Like I say, you can just use regular cardstock. You can leave these plain. You can use pieces of cardstock for the panels and emboss it. Blend over it, whatever you like. I'm just going to use some pattern paper. And we have 3 pieces here, and they are cut at 4 by 2 1/2. So it's 2 1/2 wide and 4 inches long. And then I have a piece for the back, and it is the same, 4 inches by 2 1/2. And that's going to go right back here to give us a space to write a message and sign our name. So let's go ahead. Let me get my mat here. Let's put some glue on this, or maybe we'll use some tape runner. That'll work. And we will put this the back side of our card. Just center it between the score lines. That's why I like to go ahead and fold on the score lines and crease them, because it gives you a nice guideline on where to put things. Okay, now I have these 3 panels that will go on the front. So we'll get some adhesive on them. Line it up just right here. Get it centered. An even border on all 4 sides. There we go. And one more. There we go. We have our panels on. And now for our focal image, I simply stamp this sailboat and a greeting. I put this panel up on some foam tape. And this panel is, let me see, it's 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. So I just took a 1/4 inch off of the length and width of this panel, these panels here. Has a little border around it of the pattern paper. And look at that, our card is finished. So that's just how quick and easy this card fold can be. Now let's walk through the portrait version. So I have already cut and scored this piece of cardstock, and it is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and you score it at 2 inches and 3 1/8 inches on each side. Then you fold them just like we did before, the valley, mountain, mountain, valley. Go over them with that bone folder. And you have the portrait card base. So I have some things here. Now I know last week I had a mermaid card. I have another mermaid card because I have little girls in my life. One is my granddaughter, and then I have some that are my sister's granddaughters. And the little preschool age ones in kindergarten, the mermaid card I made last week was fine for them. My granddaughter will be 9, and she likes a little more sophisticated of a mermaid, so I have this mermaid stamp and die, and we're going to put it on this card. So the measurements for these panels are just a little different. For this card, they were all the same. This one is not like that. Now, all the measurements that you need to know, and all the supplies I used and what you need to make these cards will be found on my corresponding blog post. And the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. So you don't have to really worry about those, but I will tell you what they are just to kind of help you get an idea of what you need. So for this, you need 2 pieces of cardstock, designer paper, whatever you want. I have done both. I have this cardstock, and it is, I want to make sure I tell you the right measurement, 1 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/4. And then for these panels that I put on it, again, I just took 1/4 inch off. So these are 1.5 by 5. Now this center one is a little different. It's 2 by 5 1/4. So I made this one 1 3/4 by 5. Now I cut 2 more cardstock panels, and those will go back here on the back. Ooh, I forgot. Because I have a white card base, I stamped my greeting back here, and here's a place to sign your name or write a message. These will go back here, and they do measure the same as the 2 cardstock panels for the front at 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. So we're sure this is the right side up. We're going to turn it over. And let's get to putting these panels in place. Let's see, this is a side panel. So we're going to line it up right here. Here we go. And now our middle panel, it's the wider one for this version. Now I've made these cards off and on over the years, and I have worked with different measurements for the widths of these sections, and these measurements are just the ones that I decided I like the best, and I do see other people using them from time to time. I just think they work best, even though this card, instead of being 4 1/4 inches wide, is 4 inches. It still works. Okay, there we go. That's how that will look. Let's put our back panels on. One more. There's that. That's what it looks like from the back. Now on the front, I'm going to put this mermaid here, and I want to leave, that'll work. Just going to put some adhesive on this one side of this, because like I said, the die cuts and the like that you put on here, they can stick out a little past the center panel, as long as they don't go out farther than these side panels. And I already have dimensionals on the back of the mermaid, so we'll just take those off. Okay, a few more. Get her on here. And there we go. Have a fantastic birthday. And on the back, may your day be a splash. So there is the portrait version of the standalone card. Or like I say, sometimes this is referred to as an inverse or inverted gatefold card. Like I said, it's a quick and easy fun fold. And it can take a little longer depending on what die cuts or images you decide to use. There's our turtle one. And then let's see, here's our sailboat, the hibiscus. Here's Gladys. And here's that crab. I think it's so cute. And then I do have a Christmas version, of course. And here it is, my little snowman. And those snowflakes, they're iridescent, so they're just every color there. But that's what it looks like. And I don't know if you can see the little snowflakes in this paper. I just love that paper. And then we'll flip it over. And there's our greeting on the back. So there you have it, the standalone fun folds in portrait and landscape. Super easy fun fold. I hope you have a great time making cards using your supplies at home. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.